what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to Higher Ed Pulse, your Monday morning energizer covering insights and trends in higher ed marketing and enrollment. I'm Mallory Wilsey, bringing over 15 years of EdTech and marketing expertise to your earbuds.
And I'm Seth Odell, joining the Pulse with my own adventures from leading marketing at top universities to founding Kanahoma, one of the industry's fastest growing digital marketing agencies.
Each week, we bring you the kind of insider insights you typically only find over cocktails with your pals at a conference.
It's fast, it's fun, and it's designed for you, the busy higher ed professional.
You're not just listening to another podcast.
You're checking the pulse of higher education.
Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher ed professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. Welcome back to the Pulse. We are back live at NAGAP. I am sitting here with Les, who is the graduate student recruiter at Fort Hays State University. We bumped into each other yesterday at the opening reception and had an amazing conversation. I was like, Les, you got to come on this podcast. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm awake and going. I was just in Hawaii last week, and I'm really feeling that 5-hour time change, being back here now and then having to go back another hour in a few days. So I'm really feeling that jet lag now, which I've never really experienced before up until now. So
just making all our Pulse listeners a little jealous that they too are not in Honolulu. What was your favorite part about that trip?
I would say just driving around other parts of the island. Where we're staying in Honolulu, there's a lot more traffic than I expected because I've never been before. So I liked every part except for the actual Honolulu part because that was just, it felt like I was here in Louisville or I was here in a bigger city. It was just bumper to bumper.
Yeah, Hawaii's gorgeous when you get out of the kind of congested area, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's great. I don't know how to describe it. It was just an amazing trip. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never been off of mainland USA, so it was so cool.
Well, incredible. And now here we are in Louisville for the NAGAP conference. We're recording this about middle of the day on day one, so you've now had the chance to go to some sessions. Tell me, what have been your favorite sessions so far? What have you learned?
The first session, it was about best practices for a small office. And it was interesting, especially, I guess, considering what people consider small, I would say. I consider our office small because we only have one person doing recruitment type enrollment type things. And then some people would consider enrollment like a small grad office, you know, having 15 to 20 people. Hearing that was interesting. It made me feel like I'm not the one experiencing these struggles, I would say, in what I do.
Yeah, that's for me always something that I value about these conferences. Like knowing you're not alone, knowing that there's other people out there you can call who are experiencing those same challenges. I always feel rejuvenated, even though these are long days, but I always feel that sense of rejuvenation and empowerment on the other side for kind of those reasons.
Yeah, no, it's something common. I feel like it's always kind of I'm not the one feeling this. That vibe is very common in a lot of conferences. I was just at the Council of Graduate Schools back in December, and I felt that a lot when we talked about some things going on in graduate schools, maybe on the policy side, but like that feeling, some of these feelings we're all having. It was nice to relate to people.
Yeah, it's like you're filling up that professional cup, right? I love it. So I love that you mentioned you were in this session about small offices because we got to talking yesterday and you were sharing with me some information about how you're in, and this is a new position that you're in for the institution, but also that your goals seem to be on par with the undergraduate recruitment goals. Can you dive into that a little bit more for our listeners?
Yeah. So they created this role. It's the first time they've ever had any recruitment type role in the graduate school related to graduate students. Up until this point, it started in December 22. And from there, initially started off thinking it would just be like, another admissions counselor, but at the graduate level, it definitely shifted a little bit differently. You can't just go to high schools and graduate students. Like there aren't the same centralized places where you can really recruit graduate students, really have those conversations. And something that came up recently, we were talking about what are enrollment goals. And we've never actually been told enrollment goals. This idea of like we want growth. We've never actually been told like what is our goal? Like do you want X number of people? Do you want to see this percent growth in this time period? We've never really been told that specifically. It's just this conversation of we want growth, ? And I looked at that.
That feels really hard because, like, how do you know if you're on the right path if you don't have a goal to kind of anchor to?
Yeah. I would say we're just trying to figure that out. And then that's part, maybe that's, I don't know if that's just part of this position being new, and we're still trying to figure out at Fort Hays University, what is a graduate enrollment management course? What does that look like? I would say we're still trying to figure that out. And oftentimes it takes a lot of collaboration. But at this point, to me, it felt like for the past 3 or 4 semesters of this role, we have grown or been stagnant or grown. So we haven't gone down, which is nice. I would say it's growth. But anywhere from like 20 students up to, I think this semester over last spring, we were up right at like 90-some students over last year's spring, purely based on 20th enrollment. Obviously, there's some other data is its own problem too, because data management is its own thing that I guess we can talk about later. That's probably a whole nother conversation.
So, Les, you mentioned this as a new position from late 2022. What has it felt like as a professional stepping into a role that never existed before?
It has been an experience, I would say. I guess also context. This is also my first full-time professional role I've ever had. I started off as a GA, a graduate assistant for this institution, and then within my first 2 months of being there, this role opened up, and I got it. Didn't really expect to get it, and it was kind of hard to say no. So keep with that in mind. I mean, so first full-time job, also first full-time job being a new job. My supervisor, the director of the graduate school, is also relatively new. It started just a year before that in a brand new role. So I guess with all that, it's a lot of restructuring, a lot going on. And I've enjoyed, I guess, in some ways having autonomy because nobody knows what the plan is, what is graduate enrollment. Nobody knows there isn't this like pre-made plan that we've always done. We've done undergraduate admissions for 100 years. I mean, since founding the university, like it's always been a thing in some extent. The graduate enrollment is kind of just we get students come to our master's programs, and it's kind of always been a thing. And so in some ways, I really appreciate the ability to where like I have a lot of flexibility and kind of I guess creating this pathway for maybe if I'm not in a position in a few years or some odd and may move on, I'm kind of setting the tone for what the position may look like for the next person and where it evolves and where it goes. So I really like that ability to be able to do that.
Les, it was so nice sitting down to talk to you. All the best to you, especially as you're like embarking on this new career. And I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your schedule to talk to me and share some insights. If listeners want to connect with you, where's the best place to find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Lesley Mackey, Lesley. There aren't too many Leslies or Mackeys out there, so it's pretty easy to find. It'll say I did my undergrad at Eastern Kentucky University, and I currently work at Fort Hays State University. So if you find those, it's probably me. But you can also, like, if you just Google my name and Fort Hays State University, you'll also find my email contact information on our website pretty fast, because I guess I'm not one of the more common names by any means.
I love it. So especially if there's any young professionals listening to this episode, I'd certainly encourage you to get in touch with Les. This has been a terrific conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our show helps higher ed marketers and admission pros find their next big idea and features a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Brian Gross, Eddie Francis, Jenny Lee Fowler, and so many of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.